Hello, everyone. Oh, we've got thunder out here. Lots of thunder. Beautiful Wednesday. A little rainy outside, but we'll make do. So let's see here. Got some reference images that I pulled off the internet, and we're just going to start going right at it. I'm going to try to make this a little bit of a quicker live too. See if we can make things go by a little bit quicker. And get rolling here. So let me just make sure I'm all good to go here. Make sure I can see the comments as well coming in. All right. Very good. All right. I think we're doing pretty good here. So let's just go ahead and get started here, folks. So got some reference images here of kayak. Today we're making a kayak. So just found some images that I really liked. Just kind of showed some cool details. Some seats here. We'll leave that there for now. But just some really interesting different shapes, styles. So many kinds of kayaks. It's pretty cool. Not really sure what shape I want to go with yet, but just kind of bringing these in and we'll decide at some point. But first things first. So let's maybe make these a little smaller. And first things first is let's try and make this thing to scale. So if you want to start making something to scale, in the real world, the best way, honestly, is to grab the mannequin and drop it right into the preview import. Right now, the mannequin is in at 1:1 scale, so that's good. So that means that anything we design around this mannequin here will be to scale. And so we'll just check that. Grab all these, make these a little bigger, put these off a little more to the side here. I'm also going to change the mirror style to off, so it's not too bothersome. But yeah, so you've got a person here, and I'm thinking I really like, between this one and this one, I really like the shape of this, at least on the side. I really like it a lot. I think it's really cool. We're going to go ahead and go with that. And then we'll decide maybe what we want the top profile to be. But let's just go ahead and get our kayak here roughly the size that we think it might be for human. Actually probably might be helpful to get him into a kayak pose. So we're gonna legs up, and then legs down. Probably legs down a little more, actually. There we go. I think that's, yeah. And then the arms maybe kind of in a standard fold here. We'll adjust those later. But moving right along, I have to adjust the pose a little more later, but it's good for now. So it's pretty good. What's it looking like for the top view? Probably more something like that, actually. Just trying to match it up. Yeah, that's probably good. All right. So we're just going to line it on the mirror plane here. And I'm going to get that all lined up. Looks good. Legs down. And then we are just going to start doing some sketches. So I'm going to put the reference image on a ref layer. There we go. Gonna hide it just a little bit. Get a nice pink color here. And to be honest, I think maybe it'd be good to do the planar mode actually for this. We're just going to draw in planar mode. Oh yeah, we probably want. Here we go. Yeah. There we go. Very nice. Yeah, just so everybody that knows it's joining, there's thunder outside, so that's what's going on outside. It's just going to be like this cool character line in there. Nice. I think that's a really good place to start. Delete some of these, make it a little smoother. Nice. Okay. Now let's do one more for this line, this break here. It goes up. Very cool. So we're going to use that profile, and we might use a different profile for the top view, but I just really like the look of this side profile here. It's kind of cool. So we're just going to go back to our layers. We want to put the sketch on another layer, so we want to call that sketch. Grab it and should have done it beforehand, but you live and you learn. The little piece. I'm really excited to do little things on this too, like tie downs and like some some cord, tie down cord, straps, things like that. I think that'll be really fun and really easy to do, obviously in GS. So here's our kayak profile, and we probably should make another layer for our human here. And put them right in there. All right. So we've got our kayak. And I think next thing we want to do, obviously, is start defining the basically the top view of this thing, because we want to pull these sketches out. If we go into edit mode here, we can pull these out. Oh, it's still in planar mode, actually. I have to do that for all these actually real quick. Select planar mode, planar, turning off, planar. Good. Okay. So if you select this, you can pull it out. So this will give us our dimensionality that we want. I'm going to turn planar off now for this, for the tool. And I'm going to turn our refs back on. And I'm going to remove this. I'm going to use it as a reference for this here. Just don't know if I like that one. I think I mean, it's kind of cool. It's cool. I think this one's kind of cool too. They're pretty similar though. I think I was really liking the shape on this one, actually. Yeah, I actually really like the opening on this one a lot. So we'll use the opening on that, but we'll use the shape of, yeah, we'll just use this one. This one will be good. This will be a nice shape. Da-da-da. Sort of finagling it there. Get its roughly center on there. Here we are. And we're just going to turn our ref down a little bit. And we're just going to start pulling these out. I think this kind of, yeah. This probably goes in a little more, actually. Something like that. That's pretty cool. Probably want to get it out of here somewhere. Yeah. And then it's probably good for now. And then we're going to pull these other ones out. So let me check the comments here real quick because I haven't looked in a minute. Let's see here. Hi, everybody that's joining. Let's see here. Topher Sipes, looks like you're asking how do I rotate the plane once in planar mode. Good question. So essentially, how you do that is if you go to the, so I'm using the stroke tool right now, right? So if I go to the stroke tool menu and I go into planar mode, you'll see the plane pop up, right? And I can start drawing on the plane. But if you want to move the plane and you want to put it in a different spot or align it to a different axis, you can squeeze the trigger here. If you just squeeze it, it will snap to 90 degrees, 45 degrees, and it will snap to all the different axes. If you squeeze it all the way down, you can move freely the plane. So you just start, moving it again, start drawing again. So that is how you move the plane around. Really useful tool. So let me just put that right back in the center there. So that's another thing too, is if you want to put it right in the middle of the scene or align it right into the axes, you can just squeeze it ever so slightly, move it, and it will snap to the axes. It'll snap all the way in the center as well. So we'll put it there. We're going to turn it off because we don't need it at the moment. We're going to continue tweaking our lines here. So and yeah, let's see. Just trying to decide what I want to do here. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to remove the human just for now. I'm thinking let's do that. Sort of move that. Whoopsies. And I'm going to lock that reference so I don't move it again. So it's a good thing to do is you want to lock your stuff that you make that you don't want to mess up, so that you don't mess it up. So we're going to connect those together. And then we're going to use this as that top profile. A beautiful, beautiful curve that we've got going on. Let's see. That. I think that's a nice shape. It's coming along very nicely. Looking good. Let's maybe move these out a bit. Make that a little more tangent. Very good. Looking nice. Now, we want a little thickness to this. We're going to be getting pretty soon into the surfacing because that's where the real magic is, right? So you go into edit mode with these. Just copy the stroke. That's what we did there. And then we actually don't need any of this other stuff. All right, we got this other cool line that we haven't done anything with yet. So we're going to pull that out. See what we can do with it. So this is kind of our split line that splits up those bits. So probably going to move it down just a little bit. Move this out. Very good. And then we got some really cool stuff going on here. So I'm going to pull that out as well. Cool. So I think the reference. Some really interesting shapes you can do. A lot of cool, interesting combinations. Just gonna simplify that a little bit. Wonder how this really terminates. It's probably something like that. I would guess. I actually kind of like how it has that little hip to it. And now let's kind of define a little bit how this is going to change on the sides. That's just going to cut like that. Move that back, define a little more what's going on here. Very good. Copy these, bring one to the front, sort of define the shape up here. All right, let's just check the comments. Oh, we got some more comments in here. All right, so someone's asking if you can move a point of just 10 centimeters. So you can, if you want to move something, so say I want to move this, there is a indicator here of how far you're moving it. And you can actually click and then set a distance to move it incrementally, which is really helpful. So you can get this sort of array or repetitive movement here. If we, let's see, let's consult the reference once again and see how we're doing on details. Probably want a little bit of a harsher change in the surface there. Something like that. All right. So that's looking good. Let's pull up our reference again. Still need to adjust some of this. we want this dip down here because we want this is where we're going to be holding our storage, things like that. So we're gonna just copy that down. Move that point up. Move that down. Move this in. And let's see here. Cool. So let's just start making our surfaces here. So I'm going to turn the reference off. And we're going to make another layer called surfaces. I'm going to select the sketch layer actually real quick and play around with this because I kind of want it to feel like it matches the style. Cool. Let's get a little crazy with it. Let's get a little creative. Kind of make it it's pretty interesting. Very cool. All right. So we're going to start making our surfaces. We're going to just turn the sketch down a little bit. We're going to select surface. And we're going to start right into sub D, I think. You want to go with a more a little darker maybe. And then we also, I kind of want to change my environment just a little bit. We're going to actually have a We will figure out the Can even make this a reflective surface. Actually, you know what might be better? A better way of doing this is if we start with a cube. We are just going to block it in that way. So if we smooth it out, we've got this sort of this bean that we're working with here. And this might actually be a more effective way. And what we can do with this is we can actually add more levels of detail. As we go along. Kind of give a little more here. And then we can add more geometry here in the center. Let's see, remember we had our sort of our knife edge in the center. And then, oh, wonder what's going on here. We'll have to repair that. So, all right, so what happened there, folks, in case you're just wondering, is when I accidentally merged one of the points to see, like that, almost kind of like that, merged it together. So don't want that. That's not good geometry. So you want to avoid things like that. And then we're just gonna fill that back in like so. Now it's nice and clean again. And we can add another loop in here. Start pulling that up. You want to do the same thing on this here. I'm going to start reflecting that. Now it's really starting to take shape. It's starting to look like how he originally designed it, which is pretty cool. Let's check the comments here. See if anybody's anything. Somebody's asking if we can watch it later on. Yeah, you can definitely watch this later on. This will be posted on our videos, on our lives. So you'll definitely be able to watch this later. Mighty Quinn, you're saying subsurface. I think you're saying subdivisional surface modifier. We do have something kind of like that. So if you, why don't we just select our surface here? We can go between low poly and we can go with a low poly mode. As you can see here, you can see all the polygons. It's basically a non-smooth mode. And then you can actually step down your subdivisions here. You can so this slider, the low poly, is basically the same thing as smoothing and non-smoothing in a program like Blender. And then the subdivision level, you have basically 3. And so these are like basically the 3 levels of subdivision. And then if you turn it off, it's just purely polygons. There's no smoothing at all. There's no subdividing going on. But that's kind of our version of subdivisional surfaces. Let's tweak this here. It's really fun once you get surfaces going. It's really fun to go in and tweak the surfacing and all the points and everything. It's like, let's see, yeah. So that's good. We're going to add another curve here. Have it match. There we go. That was not good. I think we need another. That's good, I think. You really can spend a lot of time getting these, tweaking these, getting it just the way you want it. But at some point, you have to keep moving. So we're just going to keep moving. We'll come back to it. Don't worry. But what I was trying to get was this sort of kind of sharper edge here. And make sure these transitions are looking nice. So you can kind of make it disappear here at the tip by pulling these back. So, and then we've got a little bit of a round on this. So we want to pull that out. And it's at this point that we probably will want to make this disappear as well. Let's turn the sketch off and see what it looks like. It's looking pretty cool. Pretty cool. We'll Can't decide how I want to treat this yet, but I think that transition's pretty nice. Another thing too is this is a great time to sort of look at some of the subdivision or the sub-D tools. So one of the things is you can, when you're in sub-D mode, you can open up the sub-D tools here, and you have a smooth tool. So if we go right in here, we want to loosen up some of these points, we can take the smooth tool and it will spread those out just a little bit and release some of the tension in those points. So looking a lot more organic, very cool. I think maybe you want to pull out this bulge here and then have it actually have it taper in the front like it is. It's kind of different, interesting. So next thing is we obviously have this part where you have to sit in it, right? So we want to remove that. So we'll have to delete these faces here. It might mess a few things up in the beginning, but it'll be all right. We'll make through it. I'm going to turn the reference on again, and I'm just going to unlock it. I'm going to move it up so I can really match the original image here. So pull that out. Yeah, it goes all the way over there. So that's the shape. We've matched the shape, which is good. Now I'm going to turn the ref off again. So it hasn't really changed it that much. But next step is what's really cool. This is actually a whole loop. So we can start extruding from this loop, which is really beautiful. So let's turn our sketch on again and see if we can really start matching. Actually, it needs to go, looks like it needs to go back in a little bit more, but we can start matching our sketch. As well. So we can turn on loop. So this is I'm going to turn on tooltips so you guys can actually read this. So tooltips, turn that on. And so when you hover over tool, it'll tell you what it is. So if we go into edit mode here, we can go to auto select loops. And then we can select this entire loop here, basically. So we can scale that in. It's going to take a little bit of editing here. I think actually we want these two lines to be back down here, really. Yeah, they got to be back there. We'll figure out what to do next, but this goes here because remember we have a thickness for this opening, so we got to not forget about that. It's kind of hard to see where this goes at the moment, but it'll become clearer as we work. So now we've got that. We're going to, again, scale it in, scale, click, and then move down. And that'll be our next move. So turn that off. Now just some more tweaking. Here we are. There's that. So you'll see that it can get really complicated with sub D as you add more loops and add more points. So my advice is always start really simple, like we did in the beginning. Start with just like the blobby forms, the blobby shapes, and really get the overall form down first before you start getting into the nitty gritty of of the design and all of that, all the little details and everything. It's just gonna help you later. Get there. All right, now let's just evaluate our surface here. We need to turn our sketch off because it's getting a little bit in the way. But very nice. It's really starting to get something that looks like a kayak, which is good because that's what we're trying to make here, right? I think I want to get these a little more flat, more facing up to the top. So we've got this detail in the back. I'll try and work with that. See if I can. Cool. turn the sketch on again because I think I messed up that profile when I did that. Maybe I didn't. I want it to be a little more straight though. Cool. So what we can start doing is we can start pressing this in a little more. So we can switch to like a face mode here. We can really start getting detailed with our design here. Actually, I think the better way. So just to show you how I did that. So if you swipe on your trigger or on your joystick, you can switch between different modes. You can select faces. You can select faces and edges and points, just edges. So it's really effective way for more getting more specific with your model. So and how you control and how you edit them. So I'm going to back into this edit mode and try and create something and I'm going to add another edge loop to that. So now you've got a little cut here for your equipment. You can really sort of define the shapes here. You can make it even deeper just so we make sure that we're maximizing all the space that we have in this kayak here. I kind of want it to something else. It's a little plain. Kind of want it to have a little more style to it. It's kind of cool. It's actually really cool, I think. Yeah, I actually like that a lot. That's really cool. And that's the cool thing about working in Sub D. You can really play around with complex shapes and see where it leads you. So I'm going to maybe pinch this. pinch that in. Just make it a little more subtle. Yeah, that's pretty cool, I would say. All right, let's check some comments here. Oh, I'm so sorry about the breathing. Thank you for the support. Yeah, it's let's see here. Let's see. All right, let's get into the good stuff. So where we get really into the details. Now, obviously, this has an interior, so we need to make that, right? So first of all, something that's very brag practice that I haven't done is save this file. So there you go, saved it. All right. Let's turn our references back on. And I'm going to remove this now because we don't really need that anymore. You kind of just have it out here. I'm going to start adding some details. So let's just look at this top here. It's pretty cool, although because it's looping around the entire loop, which is cool because we've done our geometry very well. That means everything is quads, but in this particular case, it's kind of annoying. So we need to figure out a way to do this. I'm going to try this. If it doesn't work, we'll keep going. But thinking can use the knife tool. And then I'm going to make another cut. That's what I was going for. That's okay. Leave it there for now, like that. It's pretty interesting. Yep. Yep. Everybody. Yeah, you're asking about scaling down when you the loop of edges. Yep. Everybody that answered, it's a good answer. You just have it all selected and you use the joystick to scale. Currently, just not really sure of the design of this area yet, but I think it's getting there. It's interesting. I like it. So let's keep moving forward. So we've got the interior. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do what this is doing. This is doing here. We're going to continue this inward like this is, and then leave this open and sink it in. What's going on here? So here we go. It's basically like that. And then we want to connect it, complete it. It's probably good for the seat area. Here we go. Can I bring that in a little bit? Here we go. Very good. thickness to that. So I'm getting real fun with the surfacing here. Can turn our human back on. I feel like they should just be a little smaller, or the boat should be bigger, but it's looking good though. So next steps is we want to I want to get some of the details on here. So I'd say probably the best way to do this is let's use the planer tool. And we're going to use a darker color. And we're going to use a basic material. All right. We've got, let's look at one of these. Yeah, probably that. So just making the seat right here and trying to get a nice shape to everything. Want something that sort of makes sense. Probably want to get that plane there. Just trying to imagine where there might be points of contact when you're sitting in the boat, or the kayak rather. I think I want to get these connected a little bit more. Zoom in. And then what we can do is we can go back in here, sort of connect them all together, kind of like how they are in the reference imagery. And then we can have little caps off. It's really starting to look like a kayak now, huh? So we're gonna shrink these down a little bit. Check the comments here again, see what people are saying. Somebody's asking what Oculus headset is used here. I'm using the Rift S at the moment, but you can do all this in Quest. But in Quest, you just won't see the shadows necessarily, and some of the reflections won't be as good if you're using Quest. But you can do all the modeling. Increasing with the joystick. Yeah, so you said, do you control the sharpening of edges with adding and moving the points, or do you use creasing with the joystick? So for the sharpening of edges, there's a couple of things you can do. The way I've been doing it is I've been actually just adding more geometry, so I'll just move points closer to each other to make it sharper. That's sort of the traditional way in traditional modeling of making things sharper. But you can also, we have a new feature where you can crease edges. So, for example, I can crease these edges here. So if I take my sub D tool set here, I actually have this, sorry, not this one, this tool here called the crease tool, and I can crease that edge. So you'll see that it's actually sharp. It's kind of hard to tell because there's a bunch of geometry here, but you can see that that edge is actually sharp now. So it's really useful for just quickly sharpening edges. I prefer, personally, just in this particular use case, I prefer sharpening with just adding more geometry so that I have a little more control over how how it when it terminates, basically. So I'm just tightening this up here. Might be cool if this just came right up flat. It might make it look cooler. It might make it look a little more intentional. Sort of gives it some extra room in the back. I think I like that. We'll keep that for now. If it changes later, we'll change it. But I think it's working. So we've got our chair here. Of course, we got the straps and everything. So I'm just looking here at the different sort of details and straps we've got going on. So I'm thinking one of the things we can do is we can get some of these straps going here. So get our primitive here. Just get our cylinder. going to repeat that. Second set there, and then finally here. That'll be good. And then what we want to do is, this will be a continuous line, so you actually want end caps off, center here, kind of a dark color. Want circular, and I think we want to turn, let's turn mirror off for this. Okay, I'm just going to loop it. And we want this to be pretty taut, so I'm just going to delete all these in the center. All of the points in the center, because we want it to be a tight string, tight cord, I guess. It's technically what it is. Right? So we got our cord, and if we want to make it thinner, we can just get our stroke menu here, and we can thin it out just a little bit. I think it needs to be slightly thinner. There we go. Maybe even a little more. There we go. Good. So, got our cord. Some of the other details that we'll need, definitely need these handles. So I wonder if there's a way we can integrate a handle in here. I don't know if I like how this is looking, but just see if it works. pretty nice, I think. We can turn the mirror on for that as well. So I think some of the final details we want to put on here is probably want to have our front handle here. Right. Round that off just a little bit. We got our front handle. That is going to be, I'm gonna sculpt it just a little more than I did the other handles, where kind of we want that on. All right, so and I'm going to just look at all the edge loops. Need to connect this together. There, there. can really play with the surfacing there and figure out what looks good. It might be a little weird, but it might look a little strange. I wonder what this looks like if we just bulged it out normal. Looks cool, but not as cool as it could look. That's pretty cool. All right. I think the last thing that we have are things like paddles and things like that. So let's check the comments again, see what's going on here. I'm glad you guys are finding this useful. Thank you for checking it out. This is, you know, I think this is a really great example of how to do sub D and gravity sketch and use all the different tools. Sub D, stroke tool, all the good stuff, right? So let me just see if I can finish up some of the details here, and then we'll wrap it up, and I'll look at some final questions here. Yeah. So obviously it'd be cool to put some stuff in this compartment. So put some stuff in here. There's obviously going to be more things on the kayak here as well. Why don't we get a little plane going on here? Turn the grid off. See what it looks like if just did like reflective surface. Kind of made this like a just like a shiny material. It's kind of cool. We can pull this out, convert it to sub D, and then we can add in a bunch of subdivide this surface. I'm going to turn off the mirror. Interesting. A bunch more subdivisions. You guys might already know what I'm doing here, but this is a cool trick if you want to do some water. Might start making the scene run a little slow, so if it does, I'm probably going to just delete it. We got a bunch of points here. And so what we can do is we can go to our tool menu and go to, actually we don't need to do that. We just do soft select. So first what we want to do is get it going smooth. And then here we go. Hold the trigger, hold the side trigger, and then you get a soft select sphere. And then what you can do is you can start making little soft selections, just little waves, little disturbances in the water, right? Sort of push and pull the points around just a little bit. Before you know it, you've got sort of water, basically a water effect around your model. So we can maybe make it look like there's make it look like it's moving through the water. So let's hide this for now. Let's see if this. Okay, doesn't look like it's making the scene go slow, which is good. So we're just going to make another layer, call that one water, and we're going to put that in there, and we're going to hide that for now, just because we want to keep working on this. And I'm going to go back to my settings here and just go back to that. So let's just finish this up, get some final details. Maybe you want to lighten that up. Actually, that was actually kind of a cool detail there. Yeah, I'm going to keep it more tactical looking. All right. So we have just a few more details to add. I think what we'll want to do, this one, is we want to that, and then we want to go back to normal end cap sphere, lighter color. reflective. I'm going to make sort of a ring shape. I don't know how long it would take me to do something like this in another piece of software, really. Probably a lot longer, I would imagine. And then we're going to do a quick revolve. Making basically like a button thing. I don't know about that. I think it just needed to be smaller. That's why. Just put another one there. I'm going to put it there and try to align it. And we're going to delete that one. Place it there. I'm going to try and line that up more with that. So just looking, it's getting there. It's looking good. What other sorts of things do we need to add? So I'm thinking maybe just a couple straps up here at the top or up here in the front. And we'll just take from our objects we have here in the back. We'll also take from this cord back here. And we can put it down with our straps here. Here. go. I just want to keep putting stuff on this thing. There's so many possibilities. I'm going to change that. And then what I want for this one is just a large. All right, let's check the comments again. Let's see. You're asking how would I build it differently through 3D printing? You could 3D print this thing right now. The only thing that I would need to do in order for this to be 3D printable really is honestly to close this surface up right here. So it kind of isn't really closed right now. This is all open. But if I were to close these faces, maybe say fill up this cavity or shell this in some sort of way, in here, just a simple kind of just completing it in the inside just a little bit, then I could totally 3D print this, including all the strokes and all the other forms. I could totally 3D print it. So yeah, absolutely. Can you project some graphics over the surfaces like Alias? No, you cannot project graphics. You can bring in PNGs, and they will come in as transparent images, and then you can place them close to a surface or over top of a surface. But other than that, you will have to. You won't be able to do any projecting. No, basically is the short answer. Let me see here. Any other things? So I think one thing I was maybe going to do in the beginning was split this. Instead of this being one piece, it would be two pieces, kind of like how this one is, which could be pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And if I out of that loop there, and I just click that, I have basically deleted that bottom bit, and essentially what I need to do now is I need to duplicate it, right? Duplicate it. In this one, I'm going to delete all of these faces. So all of this stuff. You need to be a little more careful because I don't want to delete the ones on the bottom. So we're just basically left with, this is a little trick that I'm doing here. So we're basically just left with the bottom half of the kayak. Make sure we don't delete any precious geometry here. So we're left with that. Now what we want to do is we want to do the same thing but delete the bottom. The bottom, and the other one. So we're just going to do that. It's a little tricky because some of these points are really close to each other. We might have a tool. People have asked about this as far as separating sub-D surfaces. Because we have a merge sub-D surfaces tool, but we do not currently have a tool for dividing them into separate sub-D surfaces. So the trick for that for now is what I'm doing here. Let's bring this back up. We can make this maybe white, and then this can be maybe some kind of darker color, and we can, let's get these a little closer together. We can then tweak them and get them closer to where they were before. And There we are. I don't know if that's matching up quite all the way, so we want to see if this is lining up. And then what we want to do is to give this some thickness, so we can do our select edge loops here. Actually, a smart thing to do here is we can put the bottom half on one layer, so we can do, we'll rename this surfaces to top, and then we'll make another layer and call it bottom. And then what we'll do is we'll put the bottom in there, turn it off, and so we can really see what we're doing here. So we can take this, let me go back to the layer and top, auto select edge loops, and so we have this whole edge loop here. And what we're going to do is just going to add some edge loops here. Let's see. Trying to add it, but it will not allow me. Here we go. I don't know why I wasn't doing it before. So we can scale them in, and so we've got a little thickness there, and then we can turn on our top, turn off, or sorry, turn on our bottom, turn off our top, and then edge loops again. Here we are. Scale it in like that. Then turn our top back on again, and now we have basically a part line. Now we need to tweak this so that it looks, looks right. Looks a little kind of wonky right now. Move this up. There we go. Let's see if we can maybe make that look a little better. That's really starting to look like a kayak. I don't know if you ask me. Bring that down. So we got some intersecting surfaces here. Just need to bring those down. Okay, we got some weird stuff going on over here, so we need to fix that. It's kind of like a whale a little bit in the front. It's kind of cool. It's pretty nice. So yeah, there we go. Let's check the comments again. So I might start wrapping it up here. This has definitely gone over time, but it was really fun. I think it was pretty educational. Hopefully was educational for all of you. It was definitely fun for me, and the goal is always to learn something new, right? You know, so next step is you can bring this into your program of choice, your rendering program of choice. Bottom's pretty cool. Wonder if I can do something interesting here. Very cool. You can probably try and put some kind of maybe like wrapped clothing or something in here. Let me turn off mirror. So it could look folded. And I think, I mean, we got to put we've got to put it in there. We've got to put the paddles in there. I mean, we just have to do it. Can't believe it's even taking this long to do it. So why don't we just go ahead and do that? So we're gonna, thinking probably the best way to do it is we're gonna turn our grid on, and we're gonna go to our primitives, and we're gonna get a cylinder here. Yeah. And we're going to, since it looks like it's kind of almost the length of the boat, we'll have to reference that. So we're going to just shrink it down. And then pretty long. So going to do a revolve and get like a dark color. Right. And then we're going to have our paddle, right? So we're going to have just trying to think of the best way to do it. So I think probably the best tool is going to be our sub D. We want to have mirroring on, so. And I'm just going to delete these. We want to start as simple as we can, right? It's always what we want. And we're going to do something crazy. We're going to connect these together. So this will be a perfect example on, actually, before we do that, we should make sure we like the shape. So we make sure shape is what we want. I think that's good. Yeah, that looks right. So what we want to do next is we want to make this three-dimensional. So the way I'm thinking to do it is we're going to combine these together. And so going to use our merge tool and just select the other surface you want to merge. And now it is merged. Oh, we gotta, uh-oh. First things first, right, is bake that mirror. Yes, bake the mirror. And then we're gonna merge it. So there we go. Connect it. It's not actually working the way I thought. Oh, you know what? Maybe it needs to be connected by an edge. That's why. I'm gonna have to tweak this in a minute. Put these points right up against the other points so that we've got the correct dimensionality to everything. There we are. That's a paddle. It's probably pretty large, so we'll have to shrink it probably. But there it is. Let's make it reflective so we can see what's going on. Yeah, looks good. And I'm just going to intersect it so we don't have to really close it because no one's going to see that. So what we can do is we can select this, taper it. There we go. Now, to join this together, I'm going to have to eyeball it for now. just for time's sake. So now we've got ourselves a kayak. Oh, we need to break that. That's not right. Paddle. It's kind of tricky to eyeball that, but there it is. Okay, that looks better. So now we've got it. So what we can do is we can have that strapped to the side here. What's cool is because we made it with a primitive, we can adjust the thickness of that pole there. And what we can do is we can go here, create a little hook. Just simplify that. Nice. All right, folks. I think that wraps it up. There's obviously a lot more we can do with this. We can do so much more detail, obviously. I may continue working on this, but I'm going to turn the references off. And we're going to turn the world axis off and just give a good look at this thing. So here we have a kayak, all made in Gravity Sketch, using sub-D surfacing, strokes, some primitives. We also have some water here that we put in our scene to give it sort of a, see what it would look like in a water setting. But there we go. Let me turn the water off again. Another thing cool to look at is surface contours. It'll actually show you the continuation of the surface, the geometry of it. So I want to thank everybody for watching. This has been really fun, very educational for me, and hopefully education for all of you as well. Educational for you as all as well. You know, it's quite a fun process. It's kind of like a puzzle. I often think of it as. But yeah, thank you again, everybody, for watching. Let's check some comments. Just double check. Make sure I'm not missing any questions. So someone's asking, how do you lock all the CVs in one axis, for example, and move them all equally? So one thing you can do is so one thing you can do is I'm not sure if this is going to answer your question, but we'll. So basically, if you go into edit mode here, and you want to move these just along the axis, you can align your controllers, and it will show you an axis that you can move your points along. And so it will constrain your movement only to that axis. And that goes for all the other axes as well. So you can select these points that you want to move, and then it will constrain to that axis. Same with that as well, which that looks kind of cool. That actually looks kind of cool there. I don't know. Might actually go with that. Design there. It's kind of cool. There's a lot of ways this can go. There's really interesting things going on here. I'm just gonna undo that. But yeah, so I hope that answers your question. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the comments and thoughts. It's been great. Yeah, so your controller should be in the same direction, and you will see it. So if you go into edit mode, if you line your controllers up and you're touching something and selecting it, then that axis will show up. So, but yeah, yeah. Thank you everybody for watching. Just final turnaround here, and one final cool thing here. So this is so cool, and this is what's really cool about modeling in true scale and Gravity Sketch. So if you model it in full scale, we have a new feature where if you hold the grip trigger here and the index finger trigger, it will snap your model into a full scale mode, and it basically puts in a turntable mode. So right now I'm just moving my controller around and I'm looking at this thing in real scale, as if it were right in front of me. So that's really cool, a really cool feature for evaluating your design. If you're working on some kind of car or vehicle or anything that's kind of a little bit larger, you can get a real sense of its size and how it would look, if it was in real life. So yeah, thank you very much everybody for watching. We'll just turn this around, get a nice look at the design. I think this turned out really well. And this video will be available once the live's over. So let's check the questions one more time. Awesome. Thank you again for everybody for joining. I'm going to go ahead and end this live, but make sure to tune in next Wednesday for another live session. And everybody have a wonderful rest.